I think people fail to realize just how important it is to have a band like Slaughter to Prevail and their politics on the map. For people that are from different parts of the world that aren't specifically being endangered or put under the gun or knife from a variety of hateful acts or literal war such as Russia and Ukraine, it can be taken for granted how important it is to have a representative or representatives that stand in opposition of something that their home country is doing. And considering Russia has a history of having difficulties with free press and propaganda, especially with wartime stuff ever since Putin's been in office, Slaughter to Prevail standing up against the war and the atrocities committed during the war is such an incredible statement that I think more people should pay attention to. One of the biggest things that always happens when these sort of major events in the world and catastrophes happen is people turn to the celebrities, people turn to the culture because they shape the culture of their nation. Even though at the end of the day, the government is what controls everything, the will of the people is oftentimes dictated by the stream of culture and how people interact with each other. Fashion, celebrities, singers, actors, movies, TV shows, all of those things contribute heavily to the general vibe of a country. And when you have a band like Slaughter to Prevail, which in my personal opinion are the most well-known metal and or rock band coming out of Russia now, if not ever, seeing them stand up back in 2022 where Alex Terrible literally said, please do not consider all of the Russian people accomplices in this sort of thing, that is a massive statement that should be looked at in a certain way that I think a lot of people, it kind of flies over their head a little bit. Because it's easy to put, stand for Ukraine or a Ukraine flag on your Twitter banner or whatever. But that in the end, and I mean this in the nicest way, is performative. We don't know the general gist of everything that happens. We don't know the in and outs. We don't know the behind the scenes. We're only seeing headlines and what the people say, what the governments of the warring nations put out and that sort of thing. We can only trust the officials, but at the end of the day, the people that live in those countries are always going to have more information and a better way of transmitting that information to others than the government, because the governments are always going to have biases either politically or just in terms of the propaganda they want to put out about their country. So a band like Slaughter to Prevail standing up bluntly in opposition and not beating around the bush at all with who they stand with or what they are for and against is massive, especially in a country that has this history of freedom of press sort of being endangered and having trouble. Slaughter to Prevail, while they are very violent in their demeanor, have never shied away from talking about topical things, putting things on the map, and discussing their opinions and beliefs in their music in a very harsh way. Going so far as to release a track called 1984 that literally was about the Russian government and Russia's involvement in the war and enticement of the war, which is obviously based on the George Orwell novel, and that is humongous. You should not be silenced into not being able to speak your opinion or have the freedom of speech if you so disagree or agree with something, but I do think it's very important to have important stark contrast to tyrannical movements or dictators or regimes or just questionable things done by government that endanger the people of the country and also the people of other countries. What I'm getting at is I think having differing opinions across the spectrum is very important to the lifeblood of a nation. And when a narrative is being pushed very hard by the Russian government and has been pushed very hard by the Russian government, this band being adamantly and not even fucking around or mincing words about how they stand against it is not only incredible, but impressive and just important. But what are your guys' opinions on Slaughter to Prevail and their involvement in the Russian versus Ukraine movement and how they stand? Let me know down in the comment section below. I can't wait to hear your guys' opinions. Be sure to like this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe to join the review family today, and smash that notification bell to be notified of my future uploads. You know who it is. My name is Jay Morris, and I'm signing off saying farewell.